Hey Rachel, how's it going? You hear me? Oh yeah, okay. You're not talking.
Tenicka, I think
Tanika,
you're muted.
yeah.
Okay, can you hear me now? Okay. I'm Tenicka Shannon, the mother of Fred Cox, who was murdered in a church on November 8th, 2020, here in High Point, North Carolina. Um, this road has been rocky. This road has been trying, but I'm still here. I have went through, he had a gun to no gun has been found. Oh, he was in the gang, to the DA clearing him of being in the gang. And I wanted to take my pain and make it into a purpose. So even within that, I have been traveling to stand with other families in solidarity. I travel all around the world, wherever I'm needed. I try to go, but sometimes it's kind of hard for me to be everywhere at one time. So, but I do my best to stand in solidarity with every family that I can. Um, we have had the honor of being in the documentary Civil, which is the Ben Crumps documentary. It's bittersweet, but we were in it. And I just, it's just a rough road. And if it wasn't for my family, especially my mom, my niece Raquanda, I definitely could not have been through this alone. You want me to tell about the story, what happened with Fred?
Yeah, if you
Okay.
would be willing to share that with us, we would really love to hear you speak about it.
So on November 8th, 2020, I was on my way to get dinner and I was at exit, I think it's 221, going to Greensboro, and I got a call that said Fred just got shot. Well, I knew he had went to a funeral. However, who would think that someone would get shot at a funeral? I called my niece, I called my mom, and I had them to rush to the hospital. They got there, they said they do not have a Fred Cox. My phone was ringing again. Somebody told me to come to the church. So once we got there, it was very chaotic. I, I I don't remember a whole bunch of, you know, people coming up to me, but I'm sure it was thousands, so to speak, of people that embraced me once I got there. I kind of lost it. And for about 7 hours, I stood outside of this church, still not knowing for sure if that was my baby laying inside that church. So, is that my computer? Can y'all hear me?
We can still hear you.
You can hear me?
Yes, yeah, we can hear you
Yeah,
fine.
we can hear you. Oh, okay. My computer went out for some reason. But we stood out there about 7 hours waiting on them to let us know if that was for sure Fred. Well, I was called to the side, and I remember this pastor and this investigator saying that was definitely Fred in the door. And they told me that he was murdered by a gang. So came home with my parents. Of course, we are nervous, we are scared. We putting up cameras. And every day I had to go into the precinct to speak with Detective Knight. And he assured me that we're gonna find out what happened to Fred. We're gonna make sure we find out what happened to Fred. You know, he said, I remember this like it was yesterday. He said, I have interviewed Bloods, I have interviewed Crips, Zone 4, all kinds of gangs, and nobody has said anything bad about Fred. And I was like, because Fred is not a bad person. So for 10 days, they led me to believe that my son was murdered by a gang. On day 10, when he called me in the precinct, Detective Knight, he said, well, I promised you I would tell you who murdered your son. And I said, phew, finally I get closure. I need this closure. Please, like, just let me know. I need this closure. He said, well, it was from the service weapon of an officer. I said, so y'all didn't know for 10 days that my son was murdered by this officer? Well, he said, well, that's not even it. Somebody said they seen a gun near your son. I was like, gun near my son at a church? I said, I don't believe that. He said, we're gonna have to do a breaking news. And the breaking news is that your son was murdered by police brutality. He said, and then we're gonna do another breaking news. And I was definitely confused. I said, what is the second one for? Because he killed your son because your son, somebody saw a gun near your son. I lost it. So for all these months, it was at least about a month. I had been calling different attorneys and somebody said contact Ben Crump. And I was like, this man is famous. He would never want to hear anything I gotta say. I contacted Mr. Ben and he said, I'll be there in 24 hours. I said, Mr. Ben, it's been almost a month. I said, they made me wait until 10 days before they told me that this man murdered my baby. He said, Miss Shannon, I will see you in 24 hours. Within that 24 hours, Mr. Ben came. So then we found out that there were 11 cameras at the church. The only camera that was not working that day at Living Waters Baptist Church is the camera where Fred was murdered. So we knew it was a cover-up. We knew something went right. But to hear my son had a gun on a church property, I knew that wasn't the truth. So Detective Knight made me to believe that Fred was shooting at the church and none of that. So I remember being at Arigatos in Winston and my phone just kept ringing and ringing. And I didn't know the numbers. It's just ringing back to back, back to back. I don't know who these people are. I said, I'm gonna go answer this phone call real quick because I'm not sure who it is. And I answered the phone. I said, hello. And it was an unfamiliar voice. He said, I am so, so, so sorry. Your son was murdered by the police. And I was like, thank you, but who am I speaking with? He said, this is Fox 8 News. They just released your son's autopsy or on breaking news. I said, no, I haven't even received my son's autopsy, so you must have the wrong person. He said, no, Miss Shannon, I have your son's autopsy right here. And we just did a breaking news. And it shows that your son was shot 4 times and he was murdered by a Davidson County officer. He said, it shows no gun residue was on your son's hand. It just shows gun fragments from where he was being shot. He had no alcohol, no drugs in his system. And I was like, whoa, wait. Let me gather myself before you go into details about how my son was murdered, because again, I don't think you have the correct person. So then my niece had called. She was like, yes, they just did a breaking news. So of course, I had to come to my safe haven with my parents. And as I went through that night, I kept thinking, it has to be another mother that's going through the same thing I'm going through. Before Fred, I just thought it was the Breonna Taylors, George Floyd. But it had to be somebody else besides these few people that is going through what I'm going through. And I laid in the bed and I cried. And I said, you know what? During my healing, I want to heal others. I don't want for another mother to witness what I have witnessed. I don't want another mother to endure what I'm enduring alone. And I had it in my mind that I was going to be this superhero when it comes to police brutality. And I traveled the roads. I did the best I could. And then I ended up in a mental hospital because I wasn't fully healed myself. I was trying to heal others, but forgot about myself. So I stayed in the mental institution for about a week. And when I got out, I said, I'm gonna take a month off just to try to regain who I am and this new normal that's never gonna be normal. And as I tried to heal myself, I was sinking deeper and deeper in depression. But I made a promise that another mother won't have to go through this alone. And I knew I had to keep my promise, even in my pain. Just last week, I was in Gastonia, North Carolina, where the police killed another unarmed man. I stood in solidarity with his family. And it just happens so often. It's way bigger than what we see on TV every day. It's way bigger than the moms that get fame from the death of their child. And I told my mom, I said, Mom, I don't want to be famous for Fred dying. You know, that's my only child. I would rather be famous a different way, but I don't want to be famous because of that. And I remember going to a store and this lady said, I see you on the news all the time. Your son, Fred Cox. I said, yes, ma'am. She said, can I have your autograph? And I just busted out in tears. Because how dare you think that I want to sign an autograph because my name is Tenicka Shannon and my son is Fred Cox. And with this turning my pain into purpose, it's a rough road, but I made a promise to myself because this is a pain that just anybody can't describe. So whenever I'm called upon, even if it's just talking to a mother on the phone, just showing love, I'm gonna do it. I get calls all the time of the night. I'm gonna wake up because they need me and I need them. My mom fussed at me all the time because I'm always on the go. But when I laid in that bed and cried myself to sleep, I knew I couldn't leave another mother out there to suffer the way that I did. Even the church that my son was murdered at, the pastor never came and gave his condolences. The church never sent a flower, a piece of chicken, no nothing. Not even raise a 50-cent offering to say, here's a flower. So it's bad blood there too. And people wonder why I'm so angry with church. Not all churches did it. And I know that pastor didn't do it himself, but it's a way around everything. That's your church. You could at least send the card. So people that I know have rallied at the church. Did I agree? No. But was it necessary? Yes. It was very necessary. And I just pray that God continues to give me the strength to stand with these mothers and just be their shoulder to lean on, or to be that phone call away when they need me, even when I can't be there for myself. That's my goal, and that is my purpose. It's rough, but I will forever scream Fred Cox. I will forever say his name. I will forever support him. That will never change. And these police, they keep killing our young Black and brown children. And it's hurtful because it's something that I can't stop. I used to always tell my mom she tried to save the world, but I think that's me now. I'm trying to make sure there's not another Fred Cox. And every time I try to make sure there's not another Fred Cox, there's always another Fred Cox. I'm humble for today. I appreciate everyone. And I definitely appreciate my support system, FCLM. Without y'all, I couldn't do it. I wouldn't do it. I appreciate my godfather. I see him there, who always makes sure he texts me, let me know that he loves me and he is here for me. It is things like that that keep me going. It's days that I don't want to get out of bed. I don't want to shower. I don't want to brush my teeth. But it's people like y'all that keep me going. And I appreciate that. And anytime I can be of any assistance, if you have any other families that is in need of assistance, I would do my best to be there, because I've made myself a promise that I will live up to. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you so much for sharing that with us and being here with us and being as brave and as open and honest as with your experience as you have been tonight. And I really want to thank you for opening up with us and sharing all of this struggle and all of these really, you know, this really traumatic experience with us to, talk about it because it's so important to talk about it. And I want to extend that offer you gave to us, to being here for us because I want to send that back to you tenfold. I want to let you know that we are always here for you. We are always looking to support you in everything, and we have designated this night for you because we want to uplift you and lift you up, and hold you, in our hearts. And I want to extend that to you. And I wanted to ask, during this period of time, we usually ask for people to give questions and things. And I want to give people a chance to maybe put that in the chat or raise your hand and unmute and talk. But I also want to ask, I want to start that off by asking, what can we do to be supportive to you, if anything?
Well, of course, it takes a lot of money whenever I'm not working still because I suffer from severe PTSD. So whenever I travel, it's funded solely through myself or my foundation doing a fundraiser. So any financial support, not to me, but to the foundation for whenever I travel to go stand with families. And even if you cannot give me financial support, your prayers means just as much.
For sure, and I can definitely offer my prayers, but also we understand the material support is the most important thing when it comes to actually, getting these programs rolling and keeping them going and giving, as you say, in the support. So is there a fund or a link you'd like us to drop in the chat? I can drop in the chat. I encourage people to give to support this work, support you. And I want to know if there's like a link or a Cash App or anything you'd like us to drop on the chat. I can drop it right now. Or you can put it in the chat and have people.
I think the president is on the call. Will one of FCLM please put the Cash App link in there, please? You don't want me to give it to you. I have it all jacked up.
Okay, good. Thank you, Michael. I again encourage people to send, to give, and in their utmost that they can for this important work that you're doing. I have more things I want to ask, but I want to give space to folks, to anyone who wants to speak up on this and say something. Even if you have words of encouragement or if you have questions you would like to offer. Feel free to either drop them in the chat or unmute yourself.
I know somebody got something to add.
Yeah. I already have something, but I think I see something.
Oh, and one more thing. The president of FCLM, Raquanda Pollard, she is also on here. We will be traveling to New York September 22nd. Fred will be in an exhibit for 1-800 Happy Birthday. Him plus I think it's 12 other people that has lost their lives to police brutality, but Fred was one of the chosen ones for this exhibit. So I'm excited about that as well.
Tenicka, hi, my name is Jennifer. I'm with TTP, and I almost, while listening to a call like this, just want to keep silent maybe, because I feel like while there are just no words, there are just no words. And well, there are, but it just feels most appropriate to even just sit in silence and just even reverence what you've been saying and continue to reflect and just pray my heart out as I listen to you and as I see you. But I just, even despite myself, wanted to chime in and yes, thank you for your testimony here and your visiting with us. But I just want to say to you that even I tend to watch for contemporary saints, those that are out there in the world, and I think I see one in you. It it seems to just take a tremendous, tremendous personal power to, because of devastation, dig that deep into yourself and just charge forward with that personal power and with God. And I just, I'll always remember what I've heard from you. And I'll always remember Fred.
Thank you.
Yeah, I concur with that. I want to say you're a superhero to us. You know, I heard you use that term earlier, and you are. Everything you've been able to do during this period has been so awe-inspiring, so just humbling to see. And I know you were talking about, you know, working with other mothers who have lost, and other communities that have lost, and I want to know if there's, you know, if you could speak about your experiences with that like kind of what both of that collaboration was like in a political sense, but also in a personal, to whatever degree you feel comfortable talking about, like the emotional experience that you had connecting with those people.
So a politically, everybody want their child's name to be heard. They want to be the Breonna Taylors, George Floyd, Dante Wright. And I try to tell them, let's get fame a different way. Let's form a motherhood group where we can go all over the world and be a voice for the voiceless. Because when everything happened, I didn't have a voice. I had to have somebody to be my voice. So let's form a group like that. Let's not get famous because we have a hashtag. And personally, like, it's so draining because you know firsthand how this mother feels, how this father feels. And I have to stay prayed up because that energy would jump on me quick because I have a big heart. But I try my best to encourage them and to let them know it's okay to cry. It's okay to scream. It's okay to need medication. It's okay if you need to check yourself in the hospital for a few days. It's okay. And I had a mother tell me the other day, like, Tenicka, are you sure it's okay? I said, it's okay. And the reason why I know it's okay, because I take medicine. I've been in a mental institution, but I'm still here. It's okay. Everybody grieves different. You may just need that moment to yourself. No cell phones, no internet, no nothing. It's okay. And she, you know, this one mother, she said, well, my family keep telling me, don't cry, don't cry. I cry all the time. I can be driving down the street and have to pull over, but it's okay. That's just me watering my flowers. So that is one thing that I try to instill into these mothers. And not even to mention, once the district attorney made the decision not to charge, they said they didn't have enough evidence to charge murderer Michael Shane Hill. His dad died 3 days later. So not only did I have to deal with that, I had to deal with the losing of my son's father. No, we wasn't on the best of terms. No, we wasn't the best of friends, but he is still my son's dad. So of course that hurt as well. So whenever I go to a graveyard, I don't go see one Fred. I see Big Fred and Little Fred. They're buried right next to each other. His dad had told me, he said, he said, you the strongest of the two. I can't live without him. I can't do it. He said, I just need for you to fight like hell and don't give up. And I've been doing just that.
Thank you. Thank you. That was very insightful. Really appreciate that. Um, you sharing that with us. Uh, thank you. I also wanted to mention, as part of this Radical Truth Teller project, we're also working on a showcase this um, next year, where we're going to be collecting all of the writings and poetry and artwork from our Radical Truth Tellers about their experiences, about Radical Truth Telling, about these individual cases. And I just want to let you know, like, we want to, tell that story, tell your story, tell that as much as possible, and put that, because we're going to keep this going, right? You are a Radical Truth Teller for this month, and that is important. We're going to uplift you this month, but we're going to continue to be in your corner, to be, supportive and allies in this work, and and collaborators with you. So I just want to let you know that, like, as that goes on, we're going to have more information related to that, and we'll connect to that as well.
Mm-hmm. I appreciate that.
Yeah.
And even with, within all this going on, my foundation, our foundation, they have Fight for Fred Fridays. Even had Michael Harris to get locked up in Davidson County for screaming Fred Cox's name. Like, all cops are not bad, but the bad ones make it hard for the good ones. Even in Akron, Ohio, he was beat in the face by the police. So we have to make sure we educate our children. And that's something I did often. When Fred would leave, I would always ask him, if the police stop you, what you do? He would say, put my hands on my steering wheel and don't move until they tell me. We have to do our best to educate them. Even though sometimes the police fall short, we still have to make sure our babies are educated.
Yeah, for sure. To that end, I wanted to mention, you mentioned this, your institute and your this foundation that you formed. I would like to hear, if you would, about that, about what the forming of that was like, and particularly you mentioned Fred Fridays, what that is, and how we can support that.
Well, the FCLM, Fred Cox Life Matters Foundation, I honestly think my niece started it. I can't remember. And what we do is, we give back to the community. Fred was a very giving person. I always tell the story about us being at the hospital and a homeless man came in and it was cold and he didn't have no socks, no shoes on. And Fred leaned over, he said, "Ma, can I give this man my socks?" I was like, "No, Fred, you can't. He being arrested." He got up, he went over there to the police. He said, "Sir, can I just please give him the socks off my feet?" And 2 weeks before he passed, somebody's house caught on fire. And he went in his closet and swept his closet clean because he found out that the little boy were the same size as he did. So our mission is to give back to the community. We have free clothing giveaways, free food giveaways. We just did a big back to school bash. And Fight for Fred Fridays, Michael Harris and Jason Hicks, they normally post it on Fridays to send $4 for 4 shots for Fred, or they'll meet in a location and they'll rally, which is really good. I really appreciate them.
is there any like accounts we can boost that on, or like ways we can like get that signal as much as possible?
Michael Harris, Wanda Pollard, Jason Hicks.
Okay.
What's the question?
Oh, we're talking about Fred Friday, and I don't know if there's any social media ways we could boost that. That's a question. And just any work your foundation is doing.
We have Fred Cox Life Matters Facebook page. So it's a private Facebook page. We boost a lot of information through there as well. And we're updating fclm.org. That's our website. We're updating everything so that whenever I travel to different states to stand in solidarity, we'll make sure that it's on our website, or we have in a rally, we'll make sure that that is on the website. And that's fclm.org.
See that's got dropped in the chat, so we'll make sure to boost that as well. Thank you. Want to say that you're open to any questions we might. You want to give open the floor to questions if anyone has anything to add. We would really appreciate, any contribution. And as people are thinking that up, I'm also going to again encourage folk to donate and to support your work at the link at the Cash App that you put up.
Thanks.
Mm-hmm.
Y'all so quiet.
All right, well, peace and blessings out to the people, man. I just want to give a big shout out to Tenicka Shannon, because I've seen the growth in her. When we first started working with the FCLM Foundation, Tenicka wouldn't do much. It was hard for her. I've seen her now be able to, like she said, stand with other families and be a big support to them. And at the time of her still haven't got accountability for her baby, but she's fighting like hell for other children, knowing that one day she's gonna get accountability. So my advice to everybody that's on here and that's not on here, that when we share this stuff, that we embrace all these families. When we go somewhere, we just don't talk about Fred. We talk about all families that suffer, all hashtags. So I say that to say this, that we must work as a team to fight. You said something about the politics stuff. This politics stuff is in this. This politics is have their hand in this stuff, and that's why we haven't got a lot of accountability. So I just say, man, we need to band together and fight together and sit together and help us, push FCLM, Fred's name whenever we can. Every Friday we do a Fight with Fred Friday. Now online, social media is a big platform. So if you just see something, share it. Hashtag Fred Cox, or like she said earlier, share the Fred Life Matters 713. And donate $4 for the 4 shots that murdered Fred Cox. That murderer, Michael Shannon Hill, did. That would be great, man. Like she said, it costs money. She needs money to travel, so please assist with that. And assist with just when we do rallies, come out and stand with us. Stand in solidarity with the FCLM and with these other organizations that come stand with us, because we are stronger in numbers. And when we got numbers, they fear that, and we are bringing awareness that Fred Life Matters. Fred was a hero. And Fred died saving 2 lives, pushing them into the church. That we never forget that. The real story that was told was never heard about much. It was heard that one night and never no more, because they didn't want the truth. They heard Tesla lies to find out that they wasn't going to find his murderer guilty right then, but this murderer will be found guilty, because those in the community that's been fighting ever since, I think, June, to continue to spread Fred's name. And we're going to fight like hell every day to continue to get get what we got to get for Fred, and that's accountability, because we never can get justice, but we will get accountability for Fred Cox. So I love you, sister. Thank you for your strength. You are awesome. You are a blessing to a lot of mothers, a lot of fathers, a lot of families, man. And you're a strong person in this fight, man. And you're not alone. So just keep fighting, lady.
Thank you. Thank you. I love you, brother. I see message said, could you share anything about Fred that makes you happy? Oh boy. Oh God. So many things. Fred was a clown. He liked to have fun. And I remember my family, we always get together for holidays. And Fred would go to the corner store and buy a white t-shirt like every day. So we was at my family house and Fred was in the back doing something nobody knew, but it was time to eat. So my dad and my mom was saying, let's say the prayer. And Fred came through the house with a dress on, talking about, I say the prayer, I say the prayer. I was like, why you got this pink dress on? He said, I don't want to get my white tee dirty. The guy was hilarious. He was hilarious. We fussed, but he was hilarious. And he always meant well. Like, he was just a funny guy, a caring, funny person. He would always like take his hand and rub it across your face and be so mad at him. And he just the laughing. Like he was just a silly little boy. And the principal at his school, they always talk about him. They said one female principal, the assistant principal, it was a big old fight that happened on the bus, and they was calling her all kinds of B words and being very disrespectful. She said Fred flew up in that bus like he was Superman, and he said, hold up, y'all ain't gonna be calling her out her name. And she thought that was the funniest thing. She said the kids just all hushed and the fight just settled and they was going on about their day. She said she don't know how he got to that bus that fast, but he was there. So he was well mannered too. He would say, I would call him Fred. Huh? Fred. What? Fred. What, Mom? Fred. Yes, ma'am. Because he know I'm not going to say nothing else until he say yes, ma'am. And he would do that just to get on my nerves. So he was definitely a joy. We have story for days with that guy.
Yeah, no, it sounds like you definitely have so much, love that could just overflows out of the screen. Like, and yeah, I love hearing any story that you have. He's just sound like you just want to give us a hoot, and he really like what people like, not only caring about people, making people laugh.
Yes.
And those people are the most like
Yes.
kind people.
And the school would call me more than enough to the point where I would answer the phone and say, what do you do now? He won't sit down. He making everybody laugh. I'm like, dude, be quiet. Just sit down. Suspend them. No, we can't suspend them because we'll miss them. Like, what? Y'all don't make sense right now. They love that boy at that school. He was very lovable. And a smile of, that boy had a smile that'll brighten the world. He was very dark skinned with beautiful white teeth, and he made sure he showed all his pearly whites at all times. And my mama called him her chocolate drop because he was chocolate.
Yeah, I just wanted to say, and Tenicka, I met you for the first time Greensboro last week, um, and I just want to say that Red and I will definitely hold you in prayer for sure, and your family, and obviously we're going to continue to be out there where we can on the streets for justice, and as Reese posted, justice for all stolen lives.
Thank you. And I enjoyed meeting y'all as well. I definitely wasn't expecting to meet Roha, but I was happy to meet you, Red. Oh yeah, we were just standing. What was that family? The young man that was murdered in Greensboro. I haven't got a chance to meet his mom yet, but we were just in Greensboro last week, standing in solidarity. It's just, it's really sad. It's really sad.
That was for Duke.
Hi, little sis. This is J. Michael.
Oh, oh my God. Thank you so much.
You know I love you. And you
Thank
know
you.
that Fred, I had the pleasure of meeting him, man. He was a little bitty fellow when I initially met him. My story about Fred is that he would ask you a question, and he was not leaving until you gave him an answer, no matter what you were doing. And I saw him when he hurt his leg and was in the hospital. And he was more concerned about me than I was concerned about him. So the young man had a heart bigger than he was. And the old adage is, the apple doesn't fall far from the tree. If you ever had the pleasure
Amen.
of meeting his grandparents, then you knew where it started. Then if you knew his mother, you knew where it continued. So I say that keep fighting, stay strong, praying,
Thank you so much.
and you know that I'm a phone call away if you need me.
I do know. I appreciate your support.
Love you.
I love you too. Y'all, I'm really not a crybaby. Hey, Aunt Tammy. My aunt is on here. She says she cried too hard to say anything. Said let them know how much we love him. My aunt Tammy Gilchrist is on, and Fred was premature. So he had a few disabilities coming up, and one of them was speech and occupational. And my aunt and my uncle, they opened up their house to all the therapists and everyone, and she was determined that I was going to continue to finish my degree in pharmacology. And her boys, and my Uncle Peaches, they worked with Fred, and they did not give up on him. They call him Boom Boom. They did not give up on Fred, and I really appreciate them from the bottom of my heart.
I appreciate you, Tenicka. You're my inspiration. I just had to say something, but I am balling. But I'm going to get off, but I love you. Keep up your good work.
I love you too, Aunt Tammy.
Okay.
I'll say something really quick. Can you guys hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you.
I'm sorry, I would show my face, but I'm like cooking and doing a whole bunch of stuff. So, but I'm Riquanda. I'm the president of FCLM. Tenicka is my aunt. And I just want to say that I'm very proud of her. She gives me a headache every day, like every single day, every day. But I wouldn't have it no other way, because Fred was kind of like not kind of, he was my first baby before I had my own children. So it hit hard for me as well, but I knew that I had to be strong for my aunt and my grandparents, because I lost my dad as well due to gun violence, not police brutality, but gun violence. So when this happened, it was just pretty hard for our family. And we were actually just talking the other day about like just dealing with death. Like a lot of times I keep myself like busy, or I just like try to not think about it, like in a sense. And I know it may sound weird, but it's just like, I think like, well, you know, he's going out of town and like, I'll talk to him later type thing. Just so that way that I can keep myself grounded for everyone else. And sometimes I do, you know, have my days, and I when I have those days, I just try to stay away because I don't want her to, you know, in a sense, I don't want her to try to take care of me, because I feel like it's my job to take care of her. So I just wanted to say that I am very proud of you, and I love you, and I appreciate you for being on the call today.
And I know I get on your last nerve.
Yes, all the time. Real bad.
Oh God. A lot of people don't know, with this PTSD, I was suffering memory loss really, really bad, to the point where I didn't want to go anywhere alone because I was so embarrassed. I just wanted to stay in the house and stay sheltered because I couldn't remember, like, cutting my car off. I couldn't remember to do. I couldn't remember like dates. I just lost memory altogether. And my niece and my mom, they have been so phenomenal during this time. Although my memory is slowly coming back, but I couldn't have did it without them. Keeping up with all my doctor's appointments, making sure I take my medicine. They did it all. They had to treat me like I was a baby. And it used to be so embarrassing. But I just thank God that I'm able to tell my story now.
Hey, Tenicka. I just want to say, it's Jason. I cut up and play a lot all the time, really, but just looking at where, you know, Tenicka is today from the first day I came out to a rally and seeing, you know, her kind of balled up in the back, had a lot to say, but couldn't get it out. And just seeing the growth in her, even through the pain, and really being able to process that into something other than pain and having a purpose behind it, and really fighting and standing with other families, but also just standing real solid for the people around her. You know, I call her sister, but you know, sometimes she's like a mother to me. You know, I can call and ask her about something or talk to her about anything, and I really appreciate that. Especially, you know, I didn't have my mother around, so I appreciate having that connection and being able to have that relationship, to be able to call and just have conversation. You know, and I just want to say I really appreciate you and I love you.
I love you too.
We always gonna be right here with you.
Thank you. I love you, Jason.
One last thing, Jason nor Mike, I don't think they introduced themselves properly. They are the VPs of our foundation, FCLM. I just wanted to say I appreciate them as well. Because as they stated earlier, like when it first happened, me and Tenicka, we pretty much was like, well, I'll speak for me. I was like, I don't know these people. I don't want to go deal with these people. I don't want to be around these people. But they pretty much pushed us, you know, everywhere that we went. And we've made a lot of great connections. So I appreciate that, and I appreciate them for, you know, being there for us and my family.
Most definitely.
My name's Heather. I met Tenicka about, I don't know if it was 10 or 15 days maybe the day the SBI report came out after the shooting, on the telephone. And we have yet to meet face to face. I, at that point, was recovering. I'm a lawyer, a civil rights lawyer. At that point, I was recovering from my own brain injury. And I did what I could to help from the sidelines. I didn't feel comfortable because I didn't feel like I could give this everything I had. And I knew that it would mean that the people that were stepping up to the front line were going to war. I have to say that, you know, the way that the FCLM Foundation and the people that have touched Tenicka since this happened, it really has changed you and made you so much stronger. I mean, you were stronger beyond words to even be able to still be standing after what you went through. But the way that I've seen you, your light shine now, and you don't mind shining that light on murders across this country. You know, but for the people that are surrounding you with FCLM, the people you're meeting in Ohio and Virginia, everywhere you go, you know, I do want to say that I appreciate all of you for everything that y'all have done for her, because you've created a warrior for all of us. Thank you.
Thank you, Heather. I love you.
You know, I love you.
Yeah, Heather is an attorney. And the SBI never went and talked to the key witness. Fred helped 2 people in the church, and that's how he ended up getting shot. And the SBI was determined that they wasn't gonna go talk to them. And I called Heather, and I'm sure boo-hooing. She said, Tenicka, just give me a minute. And the very next day, the SBI was interviewing Vivian and her son. So I definitely appreciate you.
Hey everyone, this is Paulette. Can you hear me?
Hey, Paulette.
Hey, honey. I just wanted to say I love you and I've missed you so much. I'm Paulette. I'm secretary of FCLM. I met Tenicka a little over a year ago, and she is a totally different person. I'm gonna start crying than the person I met. And I just have to say how proud I am of her and how strong she is. And I know sometimes it's hard to be that strong, but she's got it. And I'm so proud that she's where she's at to this day. And that's all I've got to say. I love you, honey.
Thank you. I love you too, Miss Paulette.
Bye.
Yeah, my mom is coming. She want to say something.
Hello, everyone. I am Tenicka's mother. First of all, I want to thank everyone for her support, y'all love, the prayer of those righteousness. And I'm with my daughter through her thick and thin, and she was with me when she had the brother of hers was killed homicide, and little Fred, which is my chocolate drop, that was my other sweetheart. That was my baby. So I got in a lot of trouble dealing with him, but I ain't here. That was my baby. So I want to thank everyone that support my baby, that loves my child. Thank you all. Thank you all. Because like I tell my daughter, I say, look, I got 2, but I only got 1 left that I had. I don't know. I don't know. Because I'm dealing with her. I'm dealing with me. I'm dealing with my husband. It's a lot. But I do know the word. I can do all things through Christ who strengthen me. So that's part of my prayer. God strengthened me. And when it happened, little Fred, I'm like, and it hurted me. I'm like, God, I can't even see about my own baby. I can't see about her because of my chocolate drop. And he saw me through it. Like I tell him, y'all don't know a lot of time to lay in that bed and all these things get on me. I pray and cry and carry on because when she had little Fred, my mother died. So he was just special to me. I run to see about her, and I run to see about my mom. So he was my baby. She had him, but that was my baby. I love that boy, and he loves me. And one thing that me and him we had a bond, and when he always leave, we throw each other a kiss, and we do this. I got it. I got it. And that would make my day before he got killed. I went to my daughter's house. He said, Grandma, Mama, I don't feel good. Grandma, Mama, this. I got in the chair and rocked him. And she got jealous. You rusty butt. That don't matter. Don't borrow that. That's me and my chocolate drop. So he was special to me in so many beautiful, great ways. Let me repeat it again. Thank y'all for everything. Love you all.
Thank you. So,
Hey, sis.
go ahead.
I just want to tell you I love you, sis. And,
I love you too, Stewie.
I don't remember the exact time when we first met. There's been so much going on, and I wanted to apologize for being a couple minutes late to this. I've been in court the last 2 days, and for some reason I wasn't thinking it was today, and I got to thank Red and Paulette for, like, asking me if I was jumping on. I'm like, jumping on what, but like I've told you a million times, I'm always here if you want to call. You want to come over and feed the critters. I know you're chicken, but you can ask Red. They're cute. They won't hurt you.
No, thank you, Stewie.
I'm always here for you. You know that.
I know I love you and I appreciate you.
We'll see you soon.
Hey, sis. I love you.
I love you too, Shay.
So I don't know. I didn't meet her like everybody else met Tenicka. I seen her commenting. I want to say it was on Ben Crump's status about Fred. And I'm out here in Fayetteville and I didn't hear anything about it. And she invited me to, I think it was one of the marches that we did. And we just took a walk, and I've been there ever since until I started working. So hopefully I'll make my way back up there soon. Love you and Mom.
We love you.
I just want to say I'm in awe and inspiration of this beautiful community you have around you that you've built and everything y'all have done together. It is so heartwarming to see how y'all support each other and are all, just here with like love and solidarity. That means so much to see. I just want to say I really appreciate everyone.
I definitely appreciate everyone because I couldn't do it alone. No way possible. And I appreciate everyone from the bottom of my heart. And even though Jason had to text me to remind me that I need to be on this call. So they really look out for me.
And as at the top of the hour, I just want to remind folk to, You know, if you haven't, and this is for people on this call and for people later, if you haven't yet, you know, go to this Cash App, support Tenicka's work. A lot of people here are part of that work. So I want to say just to everyone, all this project you have, this movement that you're a part of, I want to just encourage people to participate in that as much as possible, and to uplift that. And I'm also going to drop the socials because not just out of a plug, but because we are going to be posting this video as a part of that, and we are going to be like posting clips and information about this project and this organization in the ongoing weeks and months and years. So I want to encourage people to follow us on Twitter and Facebook and Instagram, and to boost those posts when you see them. It's that kind of collaboration that allows us to be as powerful together as we can.
Well, I appreciate you all even considering me for this award. I was telling my friend it's bittersweet, you know. But from the bottom of my heart, I appreciate it.
And we appreciate you so much. We thank you so much for coming and speaking on this. As difficult as it is, it's so important to hear from you, from people in your experience. It would uplift this message and uplift this truth telling. It's so important for this truth telling to happen. And I just want to say I admire and have so much revolutionary love for you. I really appreciate you sharing this with us. So thank you 100 times. Thank you. And I will give you space to, say any closing things you'd like to, anything you would like to, do to, speak on this and let it give us something to ruminate on as the night closes.
The one thing that I will say is believe only half of what the news tell you. They're there to control a narrative, rather it's their story, their narrative. I did not gain a lot of support because everybody thought Fred was murdered from a gang, per the news. So only believe half of what the news say, because that's not the truth. I am the best one to tell my story, tell you the truth, and I'm an open book. Like, anybody have any doubts, any questions, I'm here. And if anyone know of any family that is in need, any child that is in need, please reach out to FCLM, because that's what we do. We're here for the community. And one last thing, my godfather is up there, and I know he got something.
Please.
You would put me on the spot, wouldn't you?
Yes, sir.
Typically our conversations are not meant for the public, but in lieu of the fact that you would put me on the spot, what I will say, I was gifted with Tenicka in my life when she entered the 9th grade. And she has been a permanent fixture with my family and in my life ever since. And, part of why I didn't want to say anything, because I've sat here, I've cried, wiped my face, got myself back together, cut off the camera, and done all that. And I said, I'm going to be in this moment with you, and listening to the wealth of support and the friends and loved ones you have on this call is just, ever so powerful. My hope is that as we, kind of close this evening out, that, we'll continue to lift you up and support you in your healing process. I mean, you all didn't even go into the full spectrum of what your family has dealt with just in the time that I've known you, but the trauma has been significant. It's just been significant, and to see you with a smile on your face and, helping me out when I'm struggling. Like I really got problems, right? You helping me out and lifting me up. I mean, the power and the strength and everything else is just, it's admirable. And as I always say, I'm proud of you. And I love you. So,
I love you too, Pops.
All right.
And to end it, I just want to encourage everybody to please keep me lifted in your sincere prayers. I have long nights and long days still because I have to relive this almost every day with attorneys and news conferences. So some days my days are very, very long, and I need that uplifting. And I appreciate each and every one of you.
Thank you so much. Thank you again from the bottom
Thank
of our
you.
hearts. We appreciate you, and thank you so much for sharing with us. And I want to thank everyone who came and was here with us in this, and just thank you again. I know I know the words. Yeah. So, but yeah. I mean, with that, I guess we can. It's good. That's a good note to close on. Thank you so much, Tenicka.
Thank you. Y'all have a great night.
You too. Be well.
Thank you so much.
Thank you so much. Bye bye. See y'all. End this recording. But, all right. See y'all.